Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Suzanne Gundersen from Screenwritenow, and I help screenwriters and industry creatives to be able to naturally de-stress and get focused into their creative rhythm and flow, build tremendous confidence, and deepen their emotional worldview into wisdom and truth. And today's video is a part of my Industry Wisdom Bit series where I'm bringing to you professionals in television and film to share with us one golden nugget of wisdom or advice that they've come to learn and maybe can help you too. So today we're joined by Brian Fitzpatrick. Brian, thank you so much for being here. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Suzanne, for having me. I love the show, and it's an honor to be here with you. I've been writing since I was actually 7 years old. It sounds like a cliche to say that, but when I was 7 years old, my mom and I were watching classic horror movies, Frankenstein, Dracula, and they weren't scary. They're just, they're old from the 30s and stuff. It just didn't bother me at all. But then she dozed off, and the classic Night of the Living Dead came on, and it terrified me to no end. But I was riveted. I couldn't look away. And about a week
We're
later, after a week of
traumatized.
sleepless
Oh my
nights,
God. Yeah.
oh, I was totally traumatized.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't. I literally didn't sleep for a week. I was just horrified. But then I became kind of fascinated by the idea that I could be so scared and yet be perfectly safe.
Mhm.
And my mom suggested, well, why don't you write this down? Why don't you write these stories down? And I was like, what? And so I started writing at 7 years old, 8 years old, started writing stories about vampires and zombies and aliens. And it just sort of, I never looked back. It just kept writing, and grew up in the 80s on Spielberg and Lucas and horror, David Cronenberg, John Carpenter, and it sort of influenced this sci-fi horror blending that I do.
Wow,
And I've been
that's
writing ever
amazing.
since.
Had no idea you started that. I mean, you're a young guy still, but you must have had so much experience in writing and being involved in. Could you just whittle it down to just one gem of advice that you think would be helpful to our audience?
Absolutely. And originally I was going to talk about perseverance, because that's, to me, perseverance covers everything. It really, but I want to drill down and talk about something that a lot of authors, whether they are screenwriters or novelists, really hate to do, is marketing. We all want to put on our creative hat and just hand it over to the PR guys, but in this day and age, we really have to do all of it ourselves. And if we want to make a career out of this, we really got to put ourselves out there. And so my nugget of wisdom is multi-platform marketing and connectivity, getting your name out there, and really embracing social media. And a lot of people just hate to do it, but if you can take 15 minutes out of your day, you can make relevant, engaging posts and really build a fan base and a following
Yeah.
that you really learn from, and they learn from you, and it's just wonderful. Like, for example, the big three, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but I make sure that they connect with each other, so my posts are kind of the same all the way through. Then of course there's your standard author website. If you're a novelist, you have Goodreads. um, I would say for screenwriting, in the screenwriting realm, Coverfly and Storyrocket is a place to do a one-page pitch package. And so any agent or producer, you point them to your site there, they see your work in one standard page, and it's wonderful. In this age of COVID, I know networking is really hard, but there's tons of online Zoom meetings, Zoom networking. You just got to sort of put the feelers out there through your Facebook groups, or even Googling. I Google LA events all the time to see what's new, what's happening, and just try and get my name out there. Meet people, and it's incredible. Oh, and also Clubhouse, the newest app. If you get an invite to that,
Yes. Yes.
Clubhouse is addicting. I could not believe it. And it's just like basically it's like a live radio show that you can participate in, but they have great learning tools in there. I've learned so much in just a week being on there,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
super friendly
I'm
people.
still resistant of that one, but I think what your message is in helping writers and authors get out there with their work is so critical. I mean, you've got to be
Yes.
able to tell people who you are. I'm personally, I am an introvert. Maybe you wouldn't believe that from all the videos that I do and put myself out there, but it just means that I'm very selective about what it is that I share and who I share it with. My personal stuff, but for the most part, everybody has to just get kind of build that muscle for being able to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, all those platforms are so important and they're so easy to
Baby
be
steps.
on. but just find a piece of content, reuse it across a couple platforms, and just build that muscle and keep going every day. Yeah. When did you come to figure this out for
Uh,
yourself?
in right around 2016, 2017, I'd converted my screenplay, Metcraft. It's a sci-fi thriller that was doing well in contests, but I wasn't getting a lot of traction with selling it to Hollywood.
Yeah.
So a friend in the industry said, "Why don't you convert it to a novel and build the fan base, and then those same studios and producers will come to you?" And I said, "Well, all right."
Wow.
So I did it and converted it to a novel. And then the way the publisher I used in the beginning had a crowdfunding model, meaning the author had to market that book and get
Sure.
enough pre-sales to pay for the publishing of the book in a traditional way. And so I had a crash course in marketing, and I eventually was very timid at first. I'm actually an introvert like yourself. I just know when to turn it on, I guess, selectively, like you, just selectively. So I just started gradually pushing myself outside of my own comfort zone. I realized I was my own worst enemy. And if I really wanted to make a career out of this, I needed to get over it.
Mm.
And I just started trying new things and pushing outside the envelope. Um, Simple things too, like for example, I put a QR code on every printed material I have, which means they can just hold their camera up to the QR code and it links right to whatever link I want them to. It's a very effective way to put their eyes onto your site.
Sounds like you
Um,
you took something that could maybe be overwhelming for a lot of writers out there, and fear of putting themselves out there, and you kind of made it simple to do with just kind of an easy daily 15 minutes, a couple of different platforms, put the QR code, make it less painful for some people, and
and
kind of
that's really the idea.
yeah, make it less painful.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you so much for sharing
Yes.
that wisdom. I think it's going to help a lot of people. I don't think we've heard this one before, so that's going to be fantastic
Oh,
for people
great.
who are listening. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with you right now. How can we find out more what's happening with you?
Oh, so it's kind of a weird, interesting time. I have a new publisher, and books 2 and 3 in this Metcraft series are done, and the publisher is going to put them all out in 1 year. So May 4th, they're re-releasing Metcraft, and the sequel, Metcraft Disruption, on May 4th. Then on November 4th, they're going to launch the third book, Metcraft Cataclysm, and they're going to put it in Barnes and Noble for me. They're going to do all the heavy lifting that a traditional publisher does. I'm very, very excited.
Lucky
And
you.
after the
That's
first,
fantastic.
I know I'm so excited. But and an interesting thing too, a song about Metcraft just came out. Now this is a funny story. A couple years ago, about year and a half ago, a band from New Jersey reached out to me and said they love the book and love the characters, and they wanted to write a song about it. And if I had and asked my permission, I was like, "Well, how many books get a song about them?" So I said, "Yes, of course." And I did my research on them. They already had a couple albums out. And they were already making a name for themselves. They have a 50,000 member following, and so I thought this is a pretty good band. And so I said, "Go for it." And the song is crazy intense. I love it. It just came out February 12th on their new album. The band is called Chemical Straitjacket, and they've got a big label behind them, and a heavy hitter producer. The keyboardist from the band Ministry is their producer on this album, and
So we'll have
it
to put
sounds
the link
amazing.
to
I
that
thought
video. Is
this
the
is really
video
good.
out? Is the video out?
They're actually looking to do a video for the song. They want to do an animation video because of all the action involved.
Mhm.
So they're getting ready to do that. But the song is out now on Bandcamp, on
Okay, cool.
the Chemical Straitjacket Bandcamp site. So I will probably post a link for you on for
That'd
the
be
YouTube.
great. Yeah, definitely let
It's
me know what
really a
it
cool
is.
song. It's one of those things where, as an author, the synergy of it, where one piece of medium reflects off the other. So what they did is on their album sleeve, in the credits, they credit me, but they also post all of my information on where to get the book.
Mm.
So it's this great cross promotion.
Share and promote. I love it. I love it. Hey, Brian, thank you
Yeah, it
so
just
much
shows
for
how
being with us today. I really appreciate it. We're going to have all the
absolutely.
links in the description box of how to find out what you're doing and how to listen to this great song that was written for your book. And And everybody who's watching, feel free to pop on over to my website, Screenwritenow, and download your free ebook copy of 3 Steps to Get Pitch Ready. That way you can get into alignment with yourself and hook your audience with your story. Thanks everybody for watching,
Yes.
and we'll see you on the next Industry Wisdom Bits. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Suzanne. It was wonderful.